states shall help weaker section in seeking justice. The idea of a pro bono advocacy is a very old idea. It was always there.
How do you think can the legal aid societies of universities diversify themselves to become better?
Legal aid students can actually help people in filing income tax.
Legal aid has a quotation access to justice. That's the word. So what this access to justice is actually applicable in those people also that they thought of a reputation while coming to a jail or something like courtroom. They have a reputation thought like, okay, my reputation is going to dissolve or something like that. So how this access to justice can reach to those people also?
But I think we should think beyond legal aid.
Welcome to this podcast. Your host Florin Keshwani and your co-host
Aditya Mani Tripathi, and today we are here with our esteemed guest of the day, Professor Nimesh Das Guru. He is here to help us understand the complexities of the topic of legal aid that has been going on in our nation. So, without further ado, we will start with the first question.
So, what is legal aid as per the Constitution of India?
Okay, first of all, legal aid is not such a complex question, so nothing like explaining the complexities, right? And if you look at legal aid from the point of view of Constitution, then Constitution of India guarantees equal protection of law to every person within the territory of India. Now, mere declaration of equal protection of law would not actually equally protect persons, right? So, if you look at the legal system that we have, it's adversarial in nature. Now, what is the meaning of an adversarial system? Where judges usually play a neutral role and cases are contested by the lawyers. Right? Now, here comes the concept of bringing parity of arms. So, if there is a difference, substantial difference between the parties, then the party who has lawyers, right, who has more support, money, would always have a better chance of prevailing in litigation.
Yes.
And this is where the concept of legal aid comes.
True, sir.
That states shall help the weaker section in seeking justice.
Correct, sir. Okay. So, thank you so much, sir. Moving forward to the next question, I would like to ask you about the historical evolution of legal aid in India. What are your views on it?
Historical evolution, if you look at it from a constitutional point of view, then 42nd Amendment, which is otherwise has a very dark image in the mind of people, right, has inserted some good clause. And one of the good clause would be this 39A in the directive principles of the state policy, where the state was mandated to make schemes for providing legal aid to the needy sections of the society. So this is one way we can look at the history of legal aid in India. And of course, later on, Legal Service Authority Act came 1987 to actually give effect to the directive principles of the state policy that we just discussed. Otherwise, the idea of a pro bono advocacy is long. Right?
Yes, right.
So there has always been a concept that lawyers should help those people who do not have adequate resources. So we have long history of lawyers taking up matters in pro bono capacity, which is like without taking their usual fee.
Okay, so what is your views of signifying that introducing the Article 39A in the Constitution during the 42nd Amendment? What was that? Why it was introduced?
Why was it introduced? Of course, because of this idea.
Its significance.
Its significance is basic. Like, see, why was it introduced? Or in fact, if you say DPSP, though it's not enforceable through court, however, the state is duty bound to give effect to the principles which are mentioned over there, policy which are mentioned there. So it gives a sort of constitutional mandate. It makes it, forces state, right, to provide for legal aid, which earlier, before 39A, the entire edifice of the legal aid was dependent upon the goodwill of the bar and the individual advocates. Once you introduce it in the constitution, the state is now obliged, right, to make policies
Completely.
which will give effect to this policy.
So
That
it
is
means,
legal.
like 39A is somehow giving the minority some time of security to get the legal aid, free legal aid services.
Minorities, I'll use the word weaker section
Weaker
of the
section of society, completely, sir.
Okay, moving forward, sir. What are your views about the evolution of legal aid in India, sir?
We just discussed about that legal aid, the idea of a pro bono advocacy is a very old idea. It was always there. Then constitutional mandate came, right?
Done, sir. Okay. My next question to you is, what do you think, how can law students and law universities play an important role in the concept, in the topic of legal aid, sir?
Okay, so if you look at legal aid, first of all, Legal Service Authorities Act, it made it compulsory for university campuses to have an office,
True,
right,
sir.
for the
Yes,
legal
sir.
aid. It's a statutory duty. But beyond that, usually in university, the cool societies are like moot court society, debating society, these things, right? And legal aid, okay, remembering my own experience, is considered to be relatively not cool society. But I don't think so. I think legal aid is such kind of society, like in the concept, in the context of university life, that legal aid probably will be the only society where you can actually see the working of law and feel and see its operation, right, in real sense, where you see the practical applications of law, and also you can actually do some good work.
Yes.
Because there have been cases, right, where legal aid students, right, have filed PIL
Yes, sir.
Yes.
and have brought significant changes,
True.
right?
True, sir.
So that is where legal aid becomes more important, because here you don't only see law in textbook,
Mhm.
but you actually see how it operates, right, in the society.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Sir, a follow-up question regarding this. How do you think can the legal aid societies of universities diversify themselves to become better?
Okay, so I am not a part of legal aid society right now, but I have been a part of legal aid society in colleges earlier. And even when I was part of legal aid society, our focus primarily was in conducting some research, or like basically legal, or setting up some sort of a legal dissemination of legal information rights sort of a meeting, right, in villages or local areas, like through Nukkad Natak and things like that.
Yes, sir.
However, okay, I should actually take name, but I'll not take, because I'm not sure whether I should, right? But I learned that some of the law schools, they have, because generally legal aid in university is about dissemination of information. But I learned that in some of the universities, legal aid societies, students are helping people in transactional work, because law has two kind of work. One is the litigational work,
Yes.
other is transactional work. So I mean, legal aid students can actually help people in filing income tax,
Yes.
Yes.
can help people in making a PAN card,
True.
right? GST,
Aadhaar card.
Aadhaar card,
Yes.
all these things, right? So
Yes.
you can, they can actually, and this will be a very meaningful thing for them to do. So probably this transactional work is another area where I think legal aid society should focus.
Completely, sir.
Understood, sir. Okay, so
Uh,
moving on to the next question. So, what do you think is the role of judicial activism in the concept of legal aid, sir?
I don't know if I'm understanding your question correctly.
What's the judiciary role? Mainly, like, it says made the laws and everything, but the thing is how much this laws is actually coming in practicality.
I'll take both the questions, mix it, and first tell you what I understood, and then I'll try giving a response to it.
Completely.
Okay, what role judiciary can play in the field of legal aid, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm assuming being a student, right? You want to know where college fits in, right?
Yes.
True, sir.
So, I think one thing that is there in the act, if my vague memory serves, is that all campus legal aid society have to get themselves registered with the district legal aid
Yes.
authority
Authority.
of
This legal.
of the state,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
And many of the district legal service authorities act do conduct a lot of program, right? And they can attach themselves over there, right? And if you look at larger role of the judiciary, then in fact, this is one way of looking at it. That what judiciary rather than I'm not looking at it from the point of view of PIL, right, and things like that.
Yes.
But I'm saying the district level authorities can probably take help of the students
Okay.
in and get some research type of work done, right? Like say one of the constant criticism of legal aid society is that the quality of legal assistance that people actually receive
Mhm.
under legal aid program are not very good,
Okay.
right?
Yes, sir.
So here the law students can help, right?
Go ahead,
Can
sir.
do the documentation works,
Yes, sir.
right? Since they are not lawyers, so they can't represent the client
Yes.
in the court. But
Mhm.
like in Delhi, when I was a student, we used to go and present cases in beggars' court, right?
Okay, got
We
it.
were allowed to do that. I don't know whether beggars' court is still run. I think it is closed now in Delhi. So or other places. So students cannot represent the client in the court, but they can definitely assist the lawyer, legal aid counsels,
Yes, sir.
right,
Yes,
in
sir.
their documentation work. This way, students will also learn practical aspects of drafting and things like that. And lawyers who are doing legal aid work would also not be burdened and will receive some quality input
Okay.
from students.
So, like legal aid has a quotation access to justice. That's the word. So, what this access to justice is actually applicable in those people also that they thought of a reputation while coming to a jail or something like courtroom. They have a reputation thought like, okay, my reputation will be going to dissolve or something like that. So, how this access to justice can reach to those people also?
I don't know whether I understood the question correctly, but if you mean to say that people fear approaching court
True, sir.
because there is a stigma attached to it, so I will not necessarily agree to this idea, because the stigma is if you are facing probably trial. But if I'm going to the court to say seek divorce or like seek some civil justice, like evicting my tenant, I mean there's no stigma attached to that,
Definitely, sir.
right? Access to justice, once again, is actually legal aid is a part of this idea of access to justice, in a sense that a mere declaration of equality before law and equal protection of law will not actually protect people equally.
True, sir.
So you need to positively act. And this is where the idea of access to justice comes. So the justice should be accessible, not only available, right? So when you declare that established courts, then justice system is available to you. But whether you can actually access it, right, requires a lot of things. Like, most important thing, lawyers, right? They are costly.
Definitely.
This is where the legal aid comes.
Understood, sir.
So, what change or reform do you think that legal aid system required?
That's a good question. Well, if you personally ask me,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I don't see much scope in legal aid, like success of legal aid. Legal aid has its own limitation. Legal aid mechanism of providing justice has its own limitation.
Currently, the student mindset is like, why should we join the legal aid society? It doesn't helpful that much. Like, as you said, that it doesn't progressive right now. Why should we? There's not working anything going on, or why should we join it and just running the free services without anything? That's the
So I told you already, ki students have more attraction towards school or society, like debating
debate,
society,
moot court. That's
right? They think they're more useful. But I personally think that the legal aid will give you the kind of exposure that none of these societies will give. First thing is that
True, sir.
all other societies will only give you a theoretical experience, right? Whereas legal aid will give you a practical experience of law.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Secondly, the diversities of work which you can see in legal aid society cannot be compared with any other society or community that function within law school, because here you can do
Completely agree,
research,
sir.
you can do research, you can do interaction, you can do nukkad natak, you can do many other things, right?
Yes,
Under
yes.
the umbrella of legal aid.
Yes, sir.
This one. Secondly, the entire idea of being a pro bono work, right? Lawyering, this is important. Students should pick up these values.
Definitely,
Sir.
sir.
Probably the time has come, right, to see beyond legal aid, right? Because I'm a huge supporter of a conditional fee mechanism. Where the people who do not have money, in India, the Bar Council rule prohibits a lawyer, from entering into contingent fee agreement. Contingent fee agreement, the idea is that you don't pay fee, you pay fee only as a percentage of damages or whatever you recover. Right. So a certain amount of percentage you will pay, especially in torts cases and many other cases, right? You don't pay any fee as advance, but your fee depends upon the outcome of the case.
Right.
Okay.
So that incentivize lawyers, right? That's
Okay.
also way to engage the lawyers when you are in a disadvantageous position, right?
Okay.
And also lawyers have like a reason to expedite the process, because they will also recover the fee only after the this will end. So Bar Council has made this rule. I think there's a Supreme Court judgment delivered in 1955. Mr. G, a senior advocate of Supreme Court of India, right? This was the case. It's a 5-judge bench, but time has come to revisit this judgment and allow contingent fee cases in at least, say, cases of human rights violation.
Yes, sir.
Because now it is well established that the state is liable to. State could be asked to pay compensation for in case of violation of fundamental rights. So at least in such cases, probably the bar should allow entering into a torts cases, especially when things are getting privatized, right? Almost everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right? So if people suffer damages, if they are tortious liability, then it is better to allow clients and lawyers to enter into a contingent fee agreement in consumer cases, right? So in all these things, I think that should be the other way of looking at it, right? Rather than trying to improve legal aid system, because what more improvement can you bring in legal aid system, right? Probably increasing the budget, right? Diversifying its practices, like including also transactional work, like things like that. But I think we should think beyond legal aid also.
Okay.
So a very unique and creative answer, sir. So moving on to a last question. We have discussed what legal aid is, how does it help a person. But one of the most common queries that we as law students have noticed in the general public is that people, even after knowing about legal aid, they cannot access it. So where should a person who is in distress go to actually get that legal aid that he or she deserves?
That the blame probably will go to the organization which is extending the legal help.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe say if you are running a legal aid society over here in this campus,
Yes, sir.
maybe you think about advertising it, like maybe a prominent board, maybe organizing Nukkad Natak, right?
Go ahead.
Letting people know, making your numbers available. I don't know, use of community radio. I don't know if it is allowed or not. Check it.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Right.
I mean, people don't also listen to radio these days. So the idea should be to make people know and know the vulnerable group of people. Like probably, I don't know how many auto walas over here are stuck because their auto is impounded or whatever. I mean, you can always go to the auto stand
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
and hold a small Nukkad Natak or something and can help them if their auto or things are in like or shops, right? Dukaan lagate hain road wood mein kinare.
Street vendors.
Street vendors.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So you can go to these places. Like Greater Noida has very good tradition of heart,
Yes, sir.
right? So you can
Yes.
go to these heart and organize Nukkad Natak,
Correct.
right? And through Nukkad Natak, you can let people know that if you have problems of legal problems, the Lloyd Law College will give you free access and quality legal service,
Correct.
right?
Okay.
There are every district
Yes, sir.
has a district legal service authority,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
right? They can go there. All law colleges, right, have to compulsorily make a legal aid clinic. They can go there.
Correct.
These are the two most easily accessible platform. If you are living in a state capital, you can go to the state level legal aid committee. If you are living in New Delhi, you can go to the Supreme Court, NALSA, that's national level state.
Sir, as a common people, like, is there any procedure for reaching out there, or just simply
No, just walk in.
just walk in and they will get the
Yeah,
services?
they're supposed to help you. I mean, there is no form to fill, I think.
Okay, completely. Sir.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so with this, we end our podcast. It was truly a fruitful session. We got to learn a lot from you. I hope our watchers also got to learn a lot from sir. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your invaluable time with us. And thank you so much.
Thank you,
It's very, very, very beautiful talking to you guys. Bye
Thank
bye.
you, sir.